Knife-obsessed teenager who stabbed another pupil to death in his school has been jailed for life with a minimum term of 16 years. Mohammed Umar Khan, who's 15, was named for the first time today as the boy responsible for murdering Harvey Willgoose, who was also 15 during their lunch break at All Saints Catholic High School in Sheffield on February the 3rd. Khan inflicted a fatal stab to Harvey's heart during a 9-second confrontation in front of other pupils in the school courtyard at around 12:15. It's believed that the two boys had recently fallen out over social media. He was convicted of murder in August following a trial at Sheffield Crown Court where he failed to persuade a jury that his actions were manslaughter because bullying had led him to lose his control. Mrs Justice Ellenbogen today lifted a reporting restriction which had previously banned the press from naming the defendant, who was referred to as Umar throughout the trial. Passing a sentence of life with a minimum term of 16 years, she told Khan that his actions had blighted the lives of students and teachers at the school, adding, "From the evidence given at trial, it is clear that Harvey was also a popular pupil whom students and teachers held in affection. Their lives, too, have been blighted by your actions which have affected them deeply and will continue to do so." She continued, "I'm also sure that you did not act to any extent in self-defense, of fear, or violence." The judge said she accepted that Harvey may have made some provocative remarks, but these were not at a level which indicated to you that Harvey posed any real threat at the time or provides any mitigation for what followed. The judge continued, "I'm also satisfied by the point at which you came to stab him. You were the aggressor and you acted in part from anger at what you considered to be the betrayal of your friendship." The media organizations had earlier argued that anonymity restrictions on Khan's identity should be lifted because it would act as a deterrent to future offenders whilst increasingly public understanding of the scourge of knife crime. Born and raised in the steel city of Sheffield, Khan hailed from a Pakistani family but has lived and been educated in the city for his entire life. He was in the same school year as Harvey. Lifting the anonymity restrictions, the judge said this was a serious crime carried out by one pupil against another on school property with a knife that was brought into school and was witnessed to varying degrees by other pupils and teachers. That the public will wish to know the identity of those who commit serious offences and seeking to understand how a child of that age could do so. That Khan had a history of being bullied over a medical condition and became increasingly scared for his own personal safety in the months before the killing. He described a difficult home life during his evidence, claiming his mother had mental issues and his father, who was often in Pakistan and absent from the family home, would beat him for minor indiscretions. Police found his phone to be a catalogue of obsession, full of images and videos of him posing with his weapons or chasing people with them, as well as searches of all manner of weaponry. In some clips, he put drill rap music over the top and posted them on social media. In December last year, his mother found an axe in his gym bag and informed the school, who called the police, and he was then visited by a police officer who warned him at length about the dangers of carrying weapons, but he insisted the axe was not his. Harvey, however, had barely attended school that term and only found himself in the focus of Khan's rage when he made the fatal mistake of supporting another boy with whom he had fallen out during a social media row. It related to an incident in the school 5 days before the fatal stabbing. On that day, Khan tried to intervene in an altercation involving two of the boys and had to be restrained by a teacher when he claimed one of these boys had a knife. A lockdown was declared and the police were called, although no weapon was found. Harvey Willgoose's mother said Khan's involvement in the knife scare represented a critical missed opportunity, and at very least he should have been searched when he arrived at school on February the 3rd. On the morning of the attack, CCTV from the school showed Khan in a series of escalating confrontations with Harvey, with the prosecution said were attempts to wind him up. Khan squared up to Harvey in a science lesson around an hour before the stabbing and gestured with his hand inside his pocket like he had a knife. 12:15 in the afternoon, when the lunch break started, Harvey approached Khan in the school courtyard to confront him, and he could be seen on CCTV pushing Khan's shoulder. Khan immediately produced a knife from a coat pocket and lunged at Harvey twice. The first stab wound pierced his heart and was dealt with such ferocity it broke through a rib, while the second was more of a glancing blow as Harvey retreated. The entire confrontation lasted just 9 seconds, and within 49 seconds, Harvey had collapsed to the floor and slipped into unconsciousness. The boy then told the teacher as he handed over the murder weapon, "I'm not right in the head. My mum doesn't look after me right."
Taking account of all of the aggravating and mitigating factors to which I have referred, and the need to impose the shortest minimum term which is consistent with your welfare and necessary rehabilitation, I consider that the appropriate minimum term in your case is one of 16 years, from which the time which you have already spent on remand will be deducted, as I shall explain shortly. Your offence of murder was committed with the knife to the possession of which, on school premises, you pleaded guilty. That latter offence formed part of the same sequence of events. In those circumstances, and having regard to the sentence which I have passed for murder and to your offending as a whole, I consider that it would not be just or proportionate to impose any separate penalty for the lesser offence, and I do not do so. That means that your conviction for that offence will not extend the minimum term which I have imposed for murder. For an offender who was 15 at the time of his conviction, Section 366 of the 2020 Act requires the court to make a parenting order in respect of the offender's parent or guardian, if it is satisfied that the order would be desirable in the interests of preventing the offender from committing any further offence. No such order is recommended by the Youth Justice Team, and having regard to the length of the minimum term which I have imposed for murder and your family circumstances, I am not satisfied that such an order is desirable in the interests of preventing your commission of any further offence. Stand up, please, Umar. I shall now summarise the sentence which you will receive and what it means for you. For the murder of Harvey Willgoose, I pass the only sentence which the law allows me to pass for someone of your age. That is, during His Majesty's pleasure. You will remain in secure custody until the parole board decides that you are suitable to be considered for release. The shortest period of time during which you must remain in custody is 16 years, less the number of days which you have spent on remand. I have been told that that period is agreed to be 259 days. Therefore, the minimum term which I impose in your case is 15 years and 106 days. I remind you that there is no guarantee that you will in fact be released at the end of that period or at any later time, and that if and when you are released, you will remain subject to licence for the rest of your life and may be recalled to continue your life sentence if you reoffend or fail to comply in any other way with the conditions of your licence. As you have been convicted by a jury of the offence of murder, no sentence will be passed on the lesser offence of manslaughter to which you pleaded guilty at an earlier stage. That offence will lie on the file, meaning that it cannot be reopened without the permission of this court or of the Court of Appeal. For your possession of a knife on school premises, you will receive no separate penalty. There are 2 related orders to be made. A victim surcharge will be imposed in the sum of £41 and a collection order made. That surcharge is fixed by law, takes account of your age at the time of your offence, and is used to fund organisations which support victims and witnesses. I order the forfeiture and destruction of the knife.
Harvey's parents were today watching from the back row of the public gallery with other family members there. His sister Sophie fought back tears as she read a statement to the court on behalf of the family describing how their whole life and world was shattered forever by his death. She said the defendant didn't just end Harvey's life, he ended ours too. So, Khan, he was wearing a waterproof black hoodie in the glass-fronted dock, and he was flanked by 3 security guards. And in mitigation for Khan, his KC said, "We respectfully submit Umar's behaviour in the immediate aftermath is consistent with the jury's verdict of someone who lost his temper but very quickly had started to calm down and very quickly started to become aware of what happened." He added, "This is a truly tragic case, a case that has affected the city and those who live in it, none more so than Willgoose family. The tragedy they have suffered will be used by them as motivation to achieve significant good, and much of that has already been achieved. The Duma will have a significant period of time to reflect on his actions and on the long-standing harm that he caused, and that while he has suffered pain, humiliation and ostracization in the past, it's nothing compared to the pain and loss that the parents of Harvey and his family have experienced. That is not lost upon him. We will endeavour to use that entire period not only to reflect but to change and to improve, because at the end of that sentence he knows, unlike Harvey, he will have an opportunity of living a life. That blessing is not lost on him." Mr. Hussain also told the sentencing hearing that shortly after the judge ruled that his client could be named, social media messages appeared from names familiar to those in the courtroom. He said, "Messages seek to portray his tragic loss of life in colours and contexts that are so far removed from facts of this case, and are only done to push forward an agenda that seeks to sow division and prevent any kind of unity, especially in terms of addressing issues that underpin this kind of offending." Following Harvey's murder, his parents have stated that they want to see knife arches in all secondary schools and colleges. Well, it's 100% a conversation. I think that we need to be empowered and brave enough to have this conversation. So the arch, essentially, it's a walk-through metal detector. You usually see them in American schools, and it's been described as a reassuring tool and real success by school leaders. So one of the school leaders said, "We're real lucky here that we don't have a knife crime problem just like they have in the US with guns as well. But we actually at the forefront of safeguarding initiatives, and I didn't really think we needed one of these at first, but then I guess the incident that happened at Harvey School, they wouldn't have thought that either, and then it did actually happen." So guys, let me know what you think with regards to this initiative. Should these metal detector things be installed in schools and colleges? I believe so, they should, because nowadays the world is fucked. You don't know what fucking people are carrying. So let me know your thoughts. It's your boy GC. If you like to keep it real.